Hey everyone, this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to use coordinate sets in GeoPix. So a quick primer on why you might want this. Let's say you have a fixture like this that has some kind of zigzag shape, and what you actually want in real life is for your ramp to map linearly onto this strand, right? So you're mapping this ramp in one-dimensional space along the strip, no matter how it's twisted and turned. Right now we're mapping it spatially in 2D, which is why you see this ramp flashes on at the bottom. It does like a somewhat nice chase up this diagonal, and then the top part flashes on as well, but that's not what we want. And the reason why we can't just lay this out into a straight line as it is right here is because then we lose the shape that we are actually trying to previs, like in real life. So to kind of have our cake and eat it too, we need to introduce a new feature in GeoPix called coordinate sets. Now, to enable coordinate sets, because it's not enabled by default, you need to go to the editor settings and settings and preferences, scroll down and find enable coordinate sets and just turn that on. Once you've turned that on, you'll notice that you have a new selection of buttons down here in the bottom left. You have your default set, which is always on by default, but then you also have sets 2, 3, and 4. So you can create up to 4 total coordinate sets per fixture. For now, we're just going to work with set 2 and set 1. So let's take a look at our fixture here in set 1. We have, as you can see here, 30 pixels, and those are being generated by a generator whose hull coordinates are set to wildcard. And so what this means is we're going to generate a strip with 30 pixels, and it's going to follow the entire hull segment. So if we go into hull mode and we add another hull, we are going to see that kind of update in real time. So we'll come back to that. That's an important note to kind of keep in your mind. If we go to set 2, you'll notice that we actually now have X's for our pixels that were on set 1. And that's because those pixels are still here. We just can't edit them or see them because we are currently viewing set 2. You can't view multiple sets at once. You have to pick one to view. So with that said, how do we actually put pixels on set 2? That is quite simple, but we do need to make some changes to our scene. Let's grab our generator 1, and let's just go and duplicate that with Control D. Let's go ahead and scoot this over so we can select it in the viewport if we want to. Okay, and so to make a generator create pixels on a different coordinate set is pretty easy. We just need to scroll down here to coordinate set in the generator, set this to one of your 4 sets. So we'll pick 2, and as you can see, we now have new pixels that are pretty much directly on top of our set 1 pixels. But this is not what we want. We actually want to, create a vertical stack of pixels over here to the side that has the same number of pixels, and we want to use that for our mapping, but see it show up on coordinate set 1. So another way to think of this is, one set you have for your mapping, and this can be selective. You could have a projector that only maps things linearly, and then you also have a coordinate set for your spatial position. I recommend leaving that on set 1. You can get super crazy by using sets 3 and 4, but I will keep that out of the scope of this video. Okay, so how do we actually create this vertical stack of pixels? Well, the easiest way here is to use some of these hulls or create some new ones and set up the second generator to kind of take use and make use of that. So let's take a look at our hulls again just for a brief moment. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. If we want to draw a vertical line, we could do so by just connecting 1 and 3, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go back to object mode and select generator 2. And down here for hull coordinates, we'll just type 1, 3. And we'll just generate, a straight line of pixels connecting those 2 hulls. Now, something that some people also will get confused about hulls is you don't actually have to follow the orange line. The orange line is just there to show you how these hulls you've created connect, but technically it can be a mesh, it can be whatever you want in terms of order. So we have now two coordinate sets. We have set 1, which is the original zigzag, and we have this linear one. But the problem here is that we are actually projecting our content onto set 1, and we're seeing it manifest here in set 2 incorrectly, right? So we need to change one more thing to make this work correctly. If you select on your projector and scroll down, you'll see another similar looking parameter. Where is it? Down here under routing, you'll see coordinate set. So you have the same option of choosing which coordinate set this projector routes into. And so what we want to do is select number 2. And now you'll see that the animation here is looking correct. And that's because, you know, our projector is projecting onto coordinate set 2, and we are viewing coordinate set 2. And if we go back to set 1 to view, you'll see that the animation now flows along the fixture in the desired linear one-dimensional way. So now that we have that, you can go over here, and in the I/O editor you can start playing around with this. Maybe you want to have a tighter ramp with more iterations. You can also slow this down if you want to. And do all kinds of things from there. And this is, you know, obviously nice because your content can be very basic, very low res, and there's obviously nothing from stopping you from taking this very same projector, pulling it back. Actually, let's go ahead and take projector 1. And let's put this 1D ramp on projector 2, and let's just go ahead and take another ramp. We'll make this a horizontal, and let's just edit the ramp and just randomize this to something else. Here we go, something green. We could duplicate this out and take the green out and put it on projector 1. And if we hop back over here, this is probably going to need to be tweaked to be more obvious. We take this projector 1, set it back to coordinate set 1, and you know what, let's just go ahead and let's just make this red. It's a little more obvious what we're actually doing here. There we go. So, okay, let's go ahead, put that back to 1. So you can see here we have projector 1 is using our spatial mapping, and you can see the red dots are going left to right spatially, and then projector 2 is using our coordinate set 2 and using that ramp to kind of map linearly along the fixture's path. And so, you know, with these two tricks, you can kind of mix and match and kind of create your own, you know, your own arrangements and your own compositions using different coordinate sets, and that can be very powerful. One last thing to mention, let's just say you want to modify these by hand. You can obviously do that if you go select your fixture, go into Pix mode. You can still grab these and move them around if you want to. Let's just go ahead and do something like this. So this will obviously impact what happens with this projector because this is routing on to coordinate set 2. And you can see this kind of happen right here. We've kind of broken the flow of our blue line because we've manipulated the positions of these in coordinate set 2. So you can actually go in there and you can custom draw your own pixels, you know, in whatever way you want by hand if you desire that level of granularity. So you have that under your belt as well. So anyways, that's it for coordinate sets. Hope that helps. Thanks.